Hi, everybody. Mayor Lou Manzo here with you again, coming to you today with one of our interviews of an important and substantial person in our community, which we like to do from time to time. Today, our focus is going to be on the Harrison Township Fire District. Obviously, a very important part of our community, and the heroes that come to save us and rescue us as needed, whether it be an issue at our home, a fire, or something else, or something on one of our roadways that becomes tragic. These are the men and women that locally come to our aid. So, because it's something that most people aren't really aware of how it works, today our guest is going to be District Fire Chief Mayor. I just made you the mayor, Matt. District Fire Chief Matt Cardile. Who knows? Maybe he'll be a mayor someday. Hi, Matt. How you doing?
I'm good, Mr. Mayor. How are you?
Okay, you're not going to
You're
run
the
against
mayor.
me or anything, are
I
you?
am not the mayor.
Okay, and I am not the district fire chief. So again, appreciate you taking the time to be with us today. I know that you have a major initiative underway uh, from a recruitment perspective, so that's kind of what prompted us getting together today. So why don't we just start out really by you giving a little bit of a history and overview of what the makeup of the fire district is and how it works.
Sure. So the Harrison Township Fire District number one is comprised of the fire resources through Harrison Township. We cover the 19.2 square miles and 12 to 15,000 residents we're currently at, and all the travelers through our town. Comprised of two different fire companies, Harmony Fire Company and Ewan Fire Company. Harmony is obviously located Main Street across from the old mill. Ewan is located on Ewan Road, and it covers the Ewan Richwood section. Um, we are what we consider a combination department. We have supplement paid staff during the day, Monday through Friday. The stipend program that we have on the weekends during the day, 7 to 5 for the volunteers. But our nighttime is all volunteers, and they're really our backbone of our responses and our makeup of our organization. And that's why we took a look at recruitment and retention this year, and we launched joinhtfd23.com.
Yeah, so I know you use the word backbone. uh, in a I mean, I hesitate to use the word rural because I'm not sure that I consider Harrison Township, completely rural any longer. But it certainly is a combination, from a makeup standpoint. But most rural or smaller towns, the backbone of those fire districts and fire companies are volunteers, as you said, correct?
Yes.
All right, so today, and you talk about the recruitment initiative, why don't you give us a little more detail on, joinhtfd23.com and how it's working and what we can expect?
Sure. 15 years ago, the volunteers were when we were 100% volunteers in the fire district, and we were 30, 40 volunteers deep with members in both firehouses. Over the years, we've seen a decline in volunteerism in the fire department, which is no different than any other community organization, not only in Harrison Township but throughout the state. And right now, we're roughly about 15 to 20 volunteers left that are active that come out every day for calls in the middle of the night or on the nighttime responses. And so we took a look at that and we said, how do we get some people out there? And we came up with joinhtfd23.com. It's a website, obviously. You go on there, you take a look at the makeup of the fire district, the leadership, and then there's a form you fill out if you want to come join. You fill it out, and then we get in touch with you, and we look at it, and we look at you, come and meet, and we'll assign you to a firehouse, either Harmony or Ewan, and then you become a part of the organization and serve your community.
Okay, so first thing you just mentioned that now you're down to about 15 volunteers.
Yeah.
What's the ideal number? What would be perfect?
Um, to be back at 30, to be honest with you, be back up to 30. I mean, don't get me wrong, our response hasn't changed. We still get fire trucks out. But as people get older, generations get older, and things of that happen, it's harder and harder to find and attract volunteers.
Yeah, so not to go too far, down the rabbit hole on this, but I've seen some literature on this, and it targeted a specific. I think it targeted a specific, age range.
Mhm.
And so, speak to that and whether or not there's any real limitations or restrictions.
Sure, you can join at 16. So this is an opportunity if a mom and dad at home has has a younger son or daughter at 16, 17 years old who's looking for some type of path in life. Bring them down to the firehouse. They can learn camaraderie. They can learn service to this community. They can learn service over self. They get responsibilities. They get some discipline, and they start learning the respect and how to start growing up and seeing what life can be about in the fire service and not in life in general. So that's the good part. And then they can get them. Then they go to college. We understand that. But then we get people when we get back in the communities. You're 22, you're 23, you're 25-year-olds who want to get their roots in the Harrison Township and be a part of an organization. Many of us in the district itself, the volunteers, are from multifunctional positions. There's engineers, there's IT specialists, there's union welders, there's law enforcement, there's college kids. They're from every perspective of life, and then they come down here and they're firemen, and they go out and they protect their community. Most of us are involved in some other community organizations, whether it's the rec committee, whether it's Little League, whether it's soccer, whether it's the women's track club, whatever. They're a part of ours, and we really put ourselves into the community. And that's one of the greatest benefits that you can get by joining a volunteer firehouse, is being ingrained into your community.
Yeah, I mean, the young person aspect of this is a really cool part of it, especially when you're just as a parent looking to take a teenager in those really interesting years
Yeah,
from 16 on up, to be able to give them something to fill their time, and like you said, teach them the value of community service and self, community over self and so forth. So but as far as volunteering to be an actual firefighter in your adult years, 20s and beyond, 40s, 50s, I mean, it could be pretty much anybody, though maybe the younger the better. Is that what I'm hearing?
well, the younger the better is obviously, but we do get a mixed group. We have, for instance, Joe Bakey. Joe Bakey is a guy who joined in his late 40s. His son is still serves our country in the United States Army, and he felt that calling deep inside. We have Joe Wilson who's assigned to the Ewan Firehouse, who, if you watch our video, his statement is profound. He said, "I've always had this internal feeling of wanting to serve other people and help them, and I found it here in the firehouse." And he was later in life, he wasn't 20 years old, and he joined the firehouse. And he's a huge role model, not only to the father, but for his kids, the service of the community. So it's different. You don't have to be 17, 16, 17 years old. You don't have to be 20 years old. You can be 40, 45, even a little bit older than that, to come on down. And you don't have to come in here to learn how to fight fires. You can come down here and learn to drive a fire truck and serve as a pump operator. You can serve as a administrative side of the firehouses, where we get involved in the community. We go out in Harrison Township Day and Lights on Main. We do functions to do some fundraisings for the volunteer side of the firehouses, and you can still be a part of the organization like that.
Yeah. So my next question was going to be, but I think you might have already kind of answered it, which is, from a volunteer perspective and getting involved and engaged in the manner that we're talking about, what are the benefits? I mean, I think you're speaking to it. It really has you become one of the foundational pillars of the community and really connected to what's going on. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. It's hard to say, but there's no better feeling when you make an impact in somebody's life at their worst time. And you hate to say it that way, but
Mhm.
in our fire, their children get hurt. A family member dies, goes into cardiac arrest. I shouldn't say dies, but goes to cardiac arrest.
Right.
And then the next thing is you're shopping at ShopRite, and down the aisle, some lady grabs you and says, "Hey, you were there for my husband, and he's alive today for you guys. Thank you." Right then and there, that gets you. And that's
Yeah.
being a part. And it's being a part of, really, as I tell people, go out and make a difference today. Go
Mhm.
out and make a difference in somebody's life, whether it's taking their cat out of the tree, whether it's to pump their basement out because their sub pump didn't work, whether it's to, be aggressive in a firefight and it saved their room and contents, and it didn't take out their Christmas presents 3 days before Christmas.
Yeah.
So, and they still have the ability to celebrate. That's the rewarding factor that you get.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, and obviously, I hear when you're saying these things, my guess is all of those things have happened, and you've experienced all of them, from the most
26 years, come across
tragic.
that once or twice.
What's that?
I said 26 years here. come
Yeah,
across that once or twice.
more than one cat in the tree, and more than one even tragic situation where you have to be the one to, potentially help save someone's life. Besides handling, calls, for emergency calls for fire or emergencies, what are some of the other things that the district or a fire department volunteer would do?
So in the volunteer side of things, what we do is we're a big part of Harrison Township Day, which we're going to get into, and we're coming up here shortly. And then Lights on Main is obviously, the forefront of kicking off the Christmas season in Harrison Township. And a few weeks after that, then we bring Santa around. He comes down and he wants to visit, and we try to hit every development in Harrison Township and bring joy to the kids and let them, see Santa on a fire truck. We're a part of organizations of the Easter egg hunt. We bring the Easter bunny to William Wilt Soccer Complex. We involved in fundraisers for Little League. We're involved in fundraisers for any other organization in town. So it's not just fighting fires and car accidents and stuff like that. You are truly ingrained into the community events of Harrison Township.
Yeah. All right. So to cut to the chase, if someone is interested in joining, what's the process? How do they go about doing that?
So you go to joinhtft23.com. You fill out the form about becoming a volunteer. It goes to our recruitment committee. There's an email, and then we contact you. And then on a Tuesday night, you can come to a firehouse, either Ewan or Harmony, meet one of the volunteer staff members that are here, and we sit and we talk. And basically, it's just kind of nonchalant, get to know who you are, why you want to join, what are you looking for, show you around the firehouses, and then we officially give you the application. You fill the application out, and then you go to that firehouse and get approved by that company. And then the board will approve you, the Board of Fire Commissioners. They'll approve you after that. So, and then you join. Now, any training that you take that benefits the fire district is paid for by the fire district. So there's no cost to you to do that. You do get a benefit called LOSAP, which is Length of Service Appreciation Program, which is it's a retirement fund for volunteers. You get a very small portion of money that every year if you meet some credentials, and it goes into a financial company, and it's an investment for you. You get multiple other benefits. I mean, obviously, all the insurance is covered by our insurance for the township. Your uniforms are paid for, your t-shirt, everything's paid for. Like, you really don't spend, you're not inducing any money into the becoming a volunteer. So
Right. So at the end of the day, hopefully the people that see this and in the initiative that'll be out there publicly at Harrison Township Day and beyond over these next several weeks, the idea would be to have a line of people coming into your firehouse
ideally,
to interview
yeah.
and discuss this and see if it,
Yep.
if it fits the bill on their end, and if after they hear more about it, they can become interested. So, at this point, I'm going to kind of, call to action everybody in town. And, I get to wear this hat in only an honorary fashion. Matt and the district leaders a few years ago were nice enough to give me this cap, along with our deputy mayor, who is our liaison to the district. And I wear it proudly. And sometimes when I'm like in ShopRite, people that don't necessarily recognize me will say thank you, because they think that I'm a volunteer firefighter. I usually explain that I'm not, and who I am and why I have the hat. But my point is, what we'd love to see, based on, getting the word out and making people aware of, join HTFD23.com and this entire recruitment initiative, that we see a bunch more of these hats throughout town. But there'll be real volunteers, not just me in an honorary fashion. So any last words before we call it a day, Matt?
Wow. I mean, I thought you were going to talk about the day you became a firefighter, you and Deputy Mayor Heim,
Well, I
you
didn't
put the
want
turnout
to.
gear on and
Yeah, so what Matt's talking about is that, Deputy Mayor Heim and I spent a few hours down at the, what do you call it? The
Salem
Gloucester
County
County,
Fire Academy.
the academy down at Gloucester County Fire Academy. Was down in Salem, right? Was that where it
Salem
was?
County, yeah.
Yeah, Salem County, excuse me. Where they have a burn house and so forth. The reality is that I donned all the apparel and put on the mask and all of the, how many pounds of
So
equipment?
roughly it's about 80 pounds worth of equipment. Once you put your air pack on and your turnout gear and all that kind of stuff, and you carry your hose, it's an additional 80 pounds to what you weigh.
So it's serious. And I went into, you know, a house with, you know, where they, with obviously Matt and some of the leadership of the firefighters, and had the ability to see the training that they go through where they light up a room. And, you know, all of the things that you think happen times 100. The intensity of the heat, it's, I mean, to be honest, it's frightening. And to know what these guys and girls and gals are doing in a volunteer scenario, risking their lives, literally, it was just so impressive. They did take advantage of me and like afterward with like all the grunt work and rolling up hoses and stuff like that because they wanted the mayor to feel the pain. And trust me, we did. But great experience, and it did give. Donnie still talks about it every time we, you know, are together. So the kind of thing that, you know, potentially we can get more people involved in, and for the betterment of the community. So I want to say thank you to Fire District Chief Matt Cardeal for taking the time today, and I look forward to making it. You know, making him have to work over the next several weeks with a million interviews in the fire house to be able to fill out his roster of volunteers.
Yep.
All
So
right, Matt,
if
thanks
Mayor
a lot.
Manzo can be a hometown hero, you can be one too.
Anyone can.
Anyone can. That's
We'll end it
correct.
with that. Thanks a
Yes.
lot, Matt. Take
Thanks,
care.
Mayor. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.